All right, and good morning, everyone. Welcome back and Happy New Year. It is January 7th, 2021, and we are kicking off our first of 12 monthly community calls. Welcome back, Michelle. Happy New Year to you. How are you doing today?
Happy New Year. I am good. Well rested, I guess. So, just ready to get a little sunshine today on our remote pathway.
Fantastic. And that's going to be our focus for today. We figured in recent episodes, we've been looking at, a review of our 2020 episodes. If you haven't listened in, there's a couple of great ones. And our most recent episode is all about helping you create a vision for 2021. So, Michelle, as we get started this morning, anything you want to share about recent episodes, reflections, etc.?
I think I'm just ready for this new year. I gave 2020 a hug and said thank you for the good stuff that you brought, but now I'm ready to shift and move into 2021.
So with that, we're going to turn the page, move into 2021. And as always, we've brought something for you to lean into. So we'd love for you to pick a card or pick a photo. Going to give us a minute to just actually sit here and lean into these images. Select one. And what is the image that you want to embrace for this year? Enjoy. All right. Michelle, would you like to kick us off? What did you select?
Oh, that yellow drew me right into that flower. And I did. I tried to look at other pictures, like, well, maybe it's not that one. No, it's that one.
It's that one. So yellow. You keep coming back to yellow. Like I love that even a year and a half ago, you brought in the yellow band to our remote pathways. What does yellow represent for you this year?
Warmth, sunshine, and conversation.
Love that. I love that.
How about you, Jen? What's popping off
Well,
the
you know me,
page?
I went for the pool. I can no longer swim, so I want to dive into the pool. And I wrote a few words down. I don't know. The first word that came to mind was ready. Like I'm really ready for this year, ready to dive in. I think a lot of my people in my world are ready to dive in, do some laps, flow, get some ease happening. And there's an expansiveness, right? In water, we can expand. We can also rest, but also move. So those were some of the words. And then there was that circle, the circle there. And I'm finding in my work right now, there's a lot of circularity, not in terms of like overlap, but actually coming back to the core, right? I started out as a remote worker. I realized like 3 decades ago, that's pretty crazy. And although the context is different, the circularity of coming back to the foundations, keeping it simple is truly, I think, the message that I'm seeing in 2021. And it's going to be supported. After I looked at the pool, I looked at that bridge right below it. So the strength of a bridge, the tension, but also the balance that naturally exists. So going for two. And Linda, we've got you live on the call today. What are you selecting and leaning into today?
Well, Michelle, it was so funny because you said you were trying to look at other pictures, and that's what I did with my picture. I saw the tree, but I kept looking and searching, and I just kept, I was drawn back to the tree because I wanted it to be the water because I just have such a love for water too. But anyway, I picked the tree because it's deeply rooted, and you can see that tree there is very large. So you know that it has really great roots. And deep roots to me represent strength and stability and growth.
Oh, wow. So
Fantastic.
good.
It's always good when we do an activity like this. And I hope for
I
those of you
love these
listening,
I love these activities. I could do this every morning.
And I love your new thumbnail on Zoom. That's such a virtual presence. I love seeing your smile. So that's great, your thumbnail.
Thank you.
always new, right? And always the old. So you could always expect in a call from me some sort of, warm up. It's actually been fun. This month I kicked off on January 1st of 21 for 21. And so every day I get to do a different activity. So anyone listening, if you're free at 12 noon, come to my Zoom room, bring a project and do some virtual co-working with us. We're actually doing 21 days of 21 virtual co-working sprints, which will nicely tie into Michelle and my second community call of this month. Because just a little shout out, 2 weeks today on the 21st, we'll be hosting our first of the 2021 monthly planning sessions. And that will be at what, 12? That'll be at 12 noon, correct?
12:15 to 1. Yeah, it's a
12:15 to
45-minute
1.
block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on January 21st. So we are changing a bit of a format. We'll still have our first call of the month in this community fashion, but our second call of the month will actually be a planning session because we are continuing to hear lots of volume just how much people want the space to pause, reflect, and plan. And then, of course, do and track. So, anything you want to say, Michelle, as we get into today's topic?
Oh, I just can't wait to get in those planning waters, everybody.
All right. Well,
That sounds fun.
yeah, we're back to our roadmap. So last year we moved through our quarterly focus, like cycle of focus, experimentation, motivation. We spent a lot of time in the last quarter looking at reflection, reflecting back on the year, reflecting back on our learning. We are now back to the front end of this. Maybe it's another expansive highway, but it's really about Q1 and focus. What do you want to create? So with that notion of maybe the photo in mind, maybe an annual theme that you've identified, what is your focus for 2021? And so this month we're going to discuss something we've called the Sunshine Mind Map for 2021. So Michelle, set this up, cue this up for our listeners. Why did we go here?
We went here. It bloomed, so to speak, on our podcast episode when we were just talking about setting the intention for the year. And we went down the road of mind maps, and you kind of set it up of what mind maps were and how they work. And then you started talking about this sunshine map and kind of gave a little bit of a segue of the rays of sunshine, and I wanted to learn more. So I was like, let's do this on the community call. So here we are.
Here we are. So again, if you haven't listened into our episode, I think that was episode 27. Is that right? 26.
Yeah, just came out yesterday.
Just came out yesterday. Head on over to your favorite podcast player and zoom in to the Remote Pathways podcast. We really wanted to give you the gift of a bit of pause and space for reflection, but also amplification, right? That's what a mind map is. If you've never heard of a mind map, it is a great brainstorming tool, getting you to really take ideas out of your head and get them onto paper. And that's why you see the word amplify, because as we go through that process of getting ideas out of our head, it really does allow us to see all the amazing things that are there. And when they're in our head, we don't usually see the connectivity between them. So we are going to actually take you through a bit of an exercise today that we framed. What do you want to amplify in 2021? So you'll need a pen for this. You'll need a piece of paper. And we are going to start off by drawing this sunshine mind map, as I like to say. And again, with mind mapping, it's an amazing technique originally created by Tony Buzan in I believe he's out of the UK back in the 1980s. It takes many, many different iterations. You can get apps for this and digital products for this. We're going to go old school and really just start with literally the sun or whatever circle in the middle of your page. And then, as you can see here, arms extending out. And I think we've got some questions, right, Michelle, to frame out a bit of a prompter for you. Is that right?
Yeah, I think we were going to start right there in that center circle
Mhm.
with your word of the year or the picture that you selected, whichever comes up naturally.
So what we'll do is we'll take about 2 minutes, and as Michelle said, with the start point of whatever word emerged or whatever image emerged for you, freely flow and start filling in those additional circles with whatever ideas come up. The only rules, and I think rule is too strong a word for a mind map, the only sort of invitation is use a different circle for every new idea. And out of that next sub theme, let's say I put in the middle, my focus is flow. Okay, flow is in the middle in my pool. Maybe the first thing that comes to my mind is ease. And then out of ease is like, ooh, planning. That's a secondary branch. So I might even have another secondary branch. We don't want to overcomplicate here. Really just take 2 minutes to get your ideas on paper. Anything you want to say, Michelle, before we get going?
Yeah, any questions? Linda, you got any questions?
No, sounds great.
Okay.
All right, enjoy 2 minutes. About 15 more seconds to just wrap up with whatever you have. right. So here's what I thought we could do. I'm going to stop the share here. And maybe we just, if you can, I don't know if you can do this, Linda, but we could just share our mind maps all at the same time, just to see how
Okay.
different they are. Because I think these are like snowflakes, right? They all look a little different.
There's a way. I don't know if there's a way for me to go back and do my, let's see here.
Oh,
Start video. Okay.
your thumbnail.
There you go. Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
Michelle. There we go. Very cool. So notice different colors, different images. So let's spend a couple minutes looking at this. Like, what do you, let's go meta view. We've got some questions on the next phase, but what do you like about your mind map?
What do you like, Jen? Tell us about yours.
I like the fact that I went beyond my circles, right? So it might look a little zany, but I like the fact that I added on and I actually dated it. Something that I've learned is like it's so important to date these because you can come back to these and then go, ooh, those were great ideas. When did I do it? And it's sort of interesting because you can go back and have a bit of a retrospective. So I like the fact that I started with my image, then to one of my words, expanse, expanded out with a lot of ideas. Have I?
Ooh,
No?
love
What about
it.
you?
Yeah, I went with the sunshine. I ended up on a farm, which is no surprise. It's 2021, and I do have that farmland. And then, so it's all about planting seeds, so things can bloom.
So
Yeah.
my tree can meet you there.
Yes, and I have a little tree on my farm, Linda.
That's
That's
right.
your tree.
When I saw that tree, I did think of your farm.
Oh,
So I wasn't able to make circles really, I just kind of wrote out words everywhere. I mean, from the rays.
Awesome. Yes, and you're so a word. You bless the world with your words, like Jen as an author. So that makes sense.
Yes, it really was a powerful 2 minutes. I can't believe how much I got from just 2 minutes. And I think something about kind of putting that time limit on it helps you too to just go in and not overthink.
Yes.
it's a really big thing. All month I've been hearing that at the 21 for 21 virtual co-working sprints, like, really putting a time window accelerates, amplifies what's going on. And this isn't for everyone, right? Like I've used mind mapping with groups for years and it's not for everyone, but for those that can really find a grounding in this, it's like, wow, like a lot can start to emerge. And some of it you may see right now, some of it may percolate upwards after the fact as well. So we've got a few more questions. Word of the year. Is there a word of the year that's starting to emerge? Maybe it's a word that you had already set. Maybe it's another word that's emerging off the page. What's the word that is of the year or maybe of this moment? I want to challenge us because maybe it's like another layer of our word of the year. So I know, like, Michelle, I think you had a word of the year, right? You were sharing that in our episode.
Yeah. Well, it's name. So I usually have a spiritual word and a practical word. So that's my spiritual word. But I'm still seeking the practical. So I'm going to pay attention to this map, this sunshine and farm and bloom, and find out what that means. But it's always an adventure, right? A heart adventure. The words kind of unfold throughout the year, and I have more understanding at the end of the year. So
Love that. Well, a word that I've been thinking about you a lot actually, because just before the holidays, we were talking about one of your terms you were using of the remote rhythm, right?
yeah.
So I don't know if rhythm showed up on your
Ooh.
map at all today, but like when I think of you, actually, this is the imprint I have of you and to focus on rhythm. And I was just writing a blog post and I reference you. I said, like there's a remote rhythm, and that's a term I got from my co-host Michelle Mullins. So
Ooh, I received that, Jen. Thank you.
all right. Well, I can't remember. I think amplify was really the word I'd said a few weeks ago. It's still amplify, but it's continuing to layer. And I think I'm going to continue to go with that amplify or expanse or magnify. That's a continuation of my theme last year, and I really do see in my work right now it really is helping people magnify their positive impact in the world and amplify their message in this virtual space. And so a lot of my words today came into that, and I think why the map for me is like diverse is because I'm blessed to work with so many diverse types of groups, right? The three legs of my business. And that's good. And seeing it on one page also helps to bucket it, to put the boundaries.
Yes, yes. And you bring so much great energy. So if there's going to be good out in the world, you're going to nurture that. So I love that. You set the table for that to happen. And I'm in the Enneagram training. It's making me think. I'm a 7, you're an 8, Linda's a 3. We're all forward moving types. So, yes, what are you bringing to the world here, Linda? What's your word?
Well, my word, I really appreciate this exercise because you have brought me to that next level, Jen, to say, okay, what is it? You know, is there some depth to this word? Is there another layer to this word? And it was funny because when I saw that tree, it reminded me of, my goodness, it was either probably almost, I feel like it was like 2 years ago. I kept hearing the word rooted, like rooted over and over. And I would even see when I would go on walks, I would see roots exposed. And so I really felt in my heart that rooted was something very significant that I needed to stay connected with. Well, my word this year kind of sounds different. And I've wrestled with my word because I'm like, this is not a word I would pick, but that's always happens to me. And my word this year is child. Now, not child as in I'm going to have a child or, you know, that kind of thing. It's not that. Child. And there's a lot of connectedness there, as in childlike faith or, you know, just the free spirit of a child. So anyway, and then today, so I wrote down my word child, and then underneath that I put rooted. And so I really think that I'm supposed to be rooted in that free spirit.
Wow.
Love that. Love that. Rooted child, you know?
Yes. Different, very, it's nothing I would have ever picked, but there's so much growth from that because then just offshoot was identity, right? You know, confidence, fun, growth, strength, you know, flexibility and roots.
So good.
It is so good. It is so good. So again, what I think we're showing, and if you're following along, it's just another way to unlayer. We spent some time a few months ago talking about the layers of remote work. And on the surface, things can look one way, but that, you know, my challenge and invitation to everyone this year is like, what's that next layer? What else is there? What's below the surface? And how do we get there? And I think a tool like this can be used in many, many different ways, right? You can use it in project planning. You can use it in content creation. You can use it in, you know, really anything, getting grounded. So we've got a few more questions. You know, how does it connect to the visuals from today? I think in all of our comments, we just connected it. But if you haven't connected your mind map to the visual you selected early on, what is that connection? And then how can this, or what's going, actually slightly different question, what's going to help you accelerate your vision for 2021? So accelerants, I don't know if that's the right term today, but what's going to magnify, what's going to amplify your vision, Miss Michelle? Did anything jump off the page to help you think about acceleration or amplification?
Yeah, I think just the warmth of the right environment. That was another thing, that a healthy environment produces great growth. And part of that is wonderful relationships. So
I love that. And you're making me think, I hadn't thought of this, but again, in picking the pool as it's, you know, snow on the ground, I'm gonna invoke the sunshine, right? Like I think there's getting back to the elements like water, sunshine, the basics, the foundation. So I think accelerating my vision is keeping it simple and going back to the foundations. I'm gonna write that. That's pretty significant for me. How about you, Linda? What's important for you?
You know, really just listening to both of you, really, I wrote down environment and elements because those things really fuel me. My environment, the people who I'm connected to, making sure that I'm remaining connected in this remote world. And then also elements. You know, I noticed the other day, it doesn't matter how cold it is outside. When I come into my office every single morning, the first thing I do is I crack my window. I do not care if it's below 0 outside. I'm going to open the window so that I can let in the fresh air. It's so important to me to feel the elements from outside. So environment and elements, you guys spurred me on with that.
Love it. Love it. So let us know, listeners, what's going to accelerate your vision. Is it elements? Is it environment? And then we have a final question, which is like, who can support you? I want to give a minute for you to think about who is it that can support you in this journey. Just take 30 seconds to think about that. This could be a really big one, especially for our connection coach, Miss Michelle Mullins. Anything you want to mention, Michelle, on this one?
I'm just going to let people sit with that. I'm
Yeah,
not going to clutter the space
I
with
think this is
words.
more a personal one, and I agree. I think it's like, think about the who, because the who is, the who helps us. We don't do things in isolation. One of my favorite episodes of presentation I did last year was no person is an island, and we don't do it alone. So think about who can support you. And with that, please visit our latest episode. It is actually episode 28, helping you set your 2021 vision. That is what inspired today's community call. We want to help you set your year with a bit of intention. Anything that you want to mention about our episode 28, Michelle?
No, just tune in, and we hope it's beneficial.
Yeah, we really hope it's beneficial. And we are coming to the end of the 52 weeks, obviously. Our 51st week was a year in review and looking at your vision. Next week, we're going to celebrate, and then we're going to do it all again. We're not doing new content at the blog other than some new GIFs and possibly some new videos to take you back to these very rich worksheets that we hope that you will recycle and reuse in 2021. Anything you want to say about the blog and any of our other content?
No, keep moving forward. I know we have a hard stop today, right? That's part of
We
the virtual
do,
space
but you know
too.
what? Vision is key. Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. So take that in for a minute. Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. And that's Jonathan Swift. We don't know until we start down that pathway. And our hope this year is that you are in focused action and, grounded in your intention and your trust of what's next for you. So, Sparker of the Week, what is your word of the year? Share it with us. Again, we've got the Remote Pathways Facebook page. We'd love to see you there, have you interact, maybe share your word. I'm going to share a snapshot of my mind map over there this week. You can see my messy handwriting. I can't even read it. You might be able to read it. So anything that you want to add to our conversation, Sparker, or what we've been putting out in the world this year?
Nope, that sounds good. And I'm moving forward to that next episode that's coming out too. I think we have one coming up, and it's all about heart math and resilience. So lots of fun we're going to have this January.
Lots of fun. So definitely stay tuned. 2 weeks today, we drop that interview with Susan Drum, our special guest. Next call, a reminder, is not going to be one of our early morning calls. We're going to let you sleep in a little bit this month, and we hope that you will join us at 12:15 on January the 21st for our first of 12 monthly planning sessions. So bring your calendar, bring your pens, bring your planner, your journal, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing some very focused action and planning. And here's a little bit of detail. You can sign up. We are doing a small charge for that because that is going to help us fund the podcast. So please join us, remotepathways.com/planning, January 21st. Reserve your seat at the virtual table. Michelle, anything else you want to say on our planning session?
Thanks for the invitation to bring the sunshine in, Jen. You always bring the sunshine into the day. And Linda, your smile on that thumbnail continues to bring the warm sunshine. So just thanks to the two of you. Got a little tongue-tied. I was so grateful.
Thank you.
Well, with that, that is it for our January call. Thanks for being with us. And there is Susan. You will meet her in our next episode, Resilience and Heart Math. So be here. And our next call like this, February 7th at 7 a.m. All right, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Continue to do and be well. We'll take care soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.